We're going to look at each other. So
Hi, Bilal.
Hi, Patty. All right, Patty. All right, I want you to think about when you're looking through tapes, okay? Starting off through your tape, your idea of an ideal reporter nowadays.
I never expect to get a tape of what I think will be the ideal reporter in a market this size. I look for tapes with potential. And I think there's different levels of potential. And I think it's important to have a well-balanced staff. So you don't want a lot of sameness. And so I'm not looking for one thing every time, but I am looking for the thing that sets that particular person apart. And it might be their investigative skills, often it is. That would often be something I would look for. It might be their storytelling ability. It might be their ability to connect live with the viewer. Really, one of those three things is what I'm sort of looking for that pops through. The most recent reporter that I hired didn't even have a tape. So tape is not necessarily the only way to go. The newest addition to our staff is a long-term investigative journalist from the Grand Rapids Press. And his ability to investigate stories in West Michigan is unmatched in this market. And so he's learning the television piece of it. But he's helping us learn better investigative skills that translate to all of the platforms that we now produce news for.
Okay, 1 second. Stay right where you're at. All right. Scoot over just a hair this way from Patty. That's it. Yeah. Scoot. That's perfect. Because everybody tends to scooch forward a little bit when they're doing it. So, if you were weighing stuff, right? I know you've tried to look for reporters to fill certain parts of certain newsrooms where you think you may be weaker at the time or whatnot. Mm-hmm. As a new reporter, what should they stress? Should they stress everything at once? It's hard to stress everything at once. What should be a main focus? Live presence? Is live presence more important than storytelling right away, or will storytelling grow, or what's more important? You know.
It depends on the news operation where you're going to work. So I can only answer it from my perspective. And I'm not sure that my answer would be the same as other news directors in the country. I think the most important thing in any new reporter are their critical thinking skills. Are they able to look critically at the stories and information that have been assigned to them? When I look at a tape, I don't want one-stop shopping. I don't want to see the fire that you covered that you think you had beautiful pictures and did a lovely job at. I expect that you can do that. You might want it to be the last thing on your tape, so I know you can do that. But I want something more complicated, something more complex. Your ability to help the viewer understand the information that you're trying to bring to them. With the explosion of the internet, the competition is much more fierce. And by that I mean that your viewer is more well-informed than ever before. And so the expectation of the viewer, and not just the news director, is that you're helping them understand something about that story that they didn't know before. And that's where critical thinking skills come into play.
And in looking at reporting now versus 10 years ago, right? And some of the schools are teaching stuff, that's a little outdated, because the teachers are outdated, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think has changed, in your opinion, that they need to accept as a fact? And what do you think has changed that you're looking for in reporters now?
I think that reporters can't be afraid to utilize the medium that they're producing for. Photographers aren't afraid. They use all of the equipment and technology that's available to them to make their pictures or their audio as strong as possible, crisp and clear, and with an opportunity to connect to what the viewer's looking for. Reporters sometimes are still in the habit of what we call sometimes big J journalism. Who, what, where, when, and why, and here I am with a stick mic to give you that information. And the viewer has evolved far beyond that. They are